Hello, this is Ms. DB, and in this video we're going to review how to do order of operations. This is from Chapter 1, Section 6, and we've actually already been using the order of operations a little bit this year, but now we'll do a whole lesson on it. So when a numerical or algebraic expression contains more than one operation, like adding and subtracting, or taking the square of a number and dividing it, the order of operation tells us which operation to perform first. So these are rules that tell us how to solve a problem so that we all will get the same answer. So first of all, you have to, if there's any grouping, like parentheses, or sometimes the grouping is a square root symbol, or sometimes it's an absolute value symbol, but usually we're talking about parentheses. You have to do that part first. So do the parentheses first. Second, if there's any powers or roots, then do those next, and we call that exponents. So if there's any exponents, powers, roots, do those next. Third, do any multiplication and division in order from left to right. So you don't do all the multiplication first and then the division. You do any multiplication and division in order from left to right. And then finally, we do any adding and subtracting. Again, you don't have to do the adding before subtracting, just do the adding and subtracting in order from left to right. Here's some different types of parentheses you might see. The curved parentheses are the most common. You see brackets, which are square, and then even braces, which are these kind of fun ones to draw. If there's more than one of these types, then do the innermost set of parentheses first, and then work outward, solving as you go. So as we were doing the order of operations, I wrote those initials over on the side, and the PEMDAS, PEMDAS, you could make a sentence out of that, and the one that we often see is "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." Remember that my dear and Aunt Sally go together because multiplication and division can be done in order from left to right, and addition and subtraction in order from left to right. So I'd rather see it written "my dear," you know, like my dear, and we'll call Aunt Sally as her name, so they would have, you can call her Aunt, you can call her Sally, you can do whichever one comes first in order from left to right. So there's the, these go together, and these go together. So that's a way to help you remember those. All right, let's practice. Here is, it looks like kind of a long expression. Let's simplify it. So in order, we first see if we can simplify any parentheses or grouping, and there is none. There's no exponents either. So the first thing that we see that we can do is the multiplication, the 2 times 3. So you go ahead and multiply 2 times 3 and get 6. So now we have 15 minus 6 plus 1. Now all that's left is adding and subtracting in order from left to right. So the first thing we would do is the 15 minus 6, which is 9, and then 9 plus 1 is 10. Okay, letter B, there's no grouping in this one either, no parentheses, but there is an exponent. There is a 3 squared, so that's the first thing to do. So 3 squared is 9. So we have now 12 minus 9 plus 10 divided by 2. Now we look through and let's see, we did please excuse, we did the E. Now we have to look for multiplication and division. I see some division. We have the divided by 2. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. So now we have 12 minus 9 plus 5. And now we can do our addition and subtraction in order from left to right. So 12 minus 9 is 3. 3 plus 5 is 8. Here's some problems from your worksheet. So the first 3 problems have some blanks for you to fill in. They're partially solved and you just get to fill in. So remember I'm going to write them over here, parentheses or grouping, and then we have exponents, and then we multiply or divide, and then we add or subtract. So there's no parentheses, there's no exponents, so we will go to multiplication and division. And right here we have some multiplication. So you take 5 times 4 and you put your answer here. and then we do any adding and subtracting in order from left to right. In number 2, we will start with our exponents, because there's no grouping, but there is right here. We have to figure out what 4 squared is and put that right here. So we'll start with exponents on that one, and I'll let you finish that one. Next would be subtraction, and then you would add. In number 3, there's no exponent, but there is some division right here. So you'll do the division and put your answer here, and then continue to solve. Let's see if there's one that looks tricky. How about number 6? Number 6, we have -5 times parentheses, that means times, 3 plus 7 squared minus 44. So we have to work in our grouping because there is parentheses. So once you have the parentheses, now we go inside of the parentheses, and there is a power to do next. So I'm going to rewrite the -5, rewrite the 3, and do this exponent of 7 squared, which is 49. And I'll keep my parentheses. Okay, now I'm still working in my parentheses. There's no multiplication, there's no division, but there is adding and subtracting. So 3 plus 49, 50, 51, 52, minus 44. And now I can do the subtraction. 52 minus 44 is 8. You can double check it on your calculator if you want to. And then finally, this means to multiply -5 times 8, so our answer then is -40. So this worksheet is almost all just practicing doing order of operations. Let's look at I'm going to start number 8. I won't finish the whole thing though. In number 8, we have those what we call brackets, and we have parentheses. So we work in the parentheses first, and the parentheses is a exponent, a power. So we're going to do the 3 cubed first. So we have 4, and that means times 4 plus 3 cubed. So 3 cubed means 3 times 3 times 3. So that's 9 times 3 is 27. Now we look back. We did the exponent within the parentheses, but we have to go back and now do the parentheses. So there is a 4 plus 27. And 4 plus 27 is 31. And now all we have left to do is take 4 times 31, and you'll find your answer. In number 9, this is a type of grouping. Having this here, it means to do the stuff on the top, the numerator, and do the stuff on the bottom, the denominator, and then put it together. So on the top we have -5 minus 13. Be very careful with your negatives there that you get the right answer there. And on the bottom, the negative is in front, and then we do the 3 squared, which is 9. So then you simplify this to find your answer for number 9. Now you'll take -18 divided by, that means divided by -9. Let's look at number 15. 15 has an absolute value sign in it, which we have talked about. Absolute value means that whatever you get for an answer, you have to take the positive of it. And it's a type of grouping as well. So I'm going to leave the 4 alone, put my parentheses, 3 minus the absolute value. Let's figure this out. 2 minus 6, that's a -4. And then the absolute value bars on your keyboard are right above your Enter key. They're like straight up and down lines, or maybe underneath your backspace. And you have to maybe hold down the Shift key to get to it. And then we have +5. Okay, next I'm going to simplify the absolute value. What is the absolute value of -4? The absolute value of -4 is 4. But we already had a negative in front of it. That negative doesn't go away just because we got an answer of 4 for this. Okay, now we're ready to do the work inside the parentheses. We're going to go to the addition and subtraction line. We're going to first subtract because it shows up first. So 3 minus 4 is -1. And then we still have 4 times this. -1 plus 5 is a +4. So now we can finally do 4 times 4 because there's the parentheses mean to multiply, and we get 16 for number 15. And that one was a several step problem. So you have to be very careful doing these, because if you mess up on one of your steps of your order of operations, you'll get the wrong answer. And then the other thing that we're going to talk about is evaluating an expression for the given value, and we've done this a little bit too, but now they're going to be a little bit more complicated, where you have to use order of operations after you substitute in the value of the variable. So in this example, we replace the x with 3, which gives us 10 minus 3 times 6. Now we think about our order of operations. We don't have parentheses or exponents, but we do have some multiplication or division. So we'll do that part first. So we'll have 10 minus 18, and then we subtract and get negative 8. Oops. Here's another example. This one looks a little more complicated because it has the exponents and parentheses. First thing you do, though, is put in the negative 2 for x. Once you do that, we will do the parentheses first. So we will do the work inside the parentheses, negative 2 plus 3. Negative 2 plus 3 is 1. And then we'll do the exponents next. 4 squared is 16. So we have 16 times 1. Now we can do our multiplication. And of course we get 16 for that. So there's a few problems on your worksheet where you'll be working with problems like this. Let's look at number 18. 18 says 4 times parentheses b minus 4 squared for b equals 5. So we will start by replacing b in here with 5. So we have 4 parentheses 5 minus 4. Whoops, I accidentally hit the button to go forward. Squared. Did I get everything? Yep. And then we'll do the work inside the parentheses. 5 minus 4 is 1. Now we'll square that. 4 times 1 squared is 1, and then we'll multiply. And this just talks about how you can have grouping symbols other than parentheses, as we already practiced. So we already did some problems like this, but here's one that looks complicated. But if you simplify everything on the top and everything on the bottom, then the fraction bar is like a division symbol at the end. So we took 2 times negative 4 and got negative 8 plus 22 over 4 squared minus 9. And then we will do the exponent in the bottom. 4 squared is 16. Now we'll simplify the top and get 14. Simplify the bottom and you get 7. And then finally you divide and get 2. 14 over 7 is the same as 14 divided by 7, which is 2. In this example, we have the absolute value bar as being our grouping symbol, and we looked at a problem like that already. So 4 squared is 16 plus 8 divided by 2, and then a lot of people would think that we should do 16 plus 8, but remember your order of operations say you have to do your division first, so it's really 16 plus 4 within the absolute value, and then the 3 in front of the absolute value means to multiply. So after we take our 16 plus 4, that's 20. Then we take the absolute value of 20 is also 20. And then we multiply, because the 3 written right in front of the absolute value sign means to multiply. So 60 is our answer. All right, well, I think I'm going to stop there. We did a lot of problems, and let me know if you need any help on your work.